What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? It's your boy, Enlightened Luciferian, first coming at y'all once again. This is basically going to start talking about the discharge process. Now, pardon my last video because for some reason or another, my ring light's acting like a fucking asshole, and my camera focus wasn't basically trying to center in on the whole pan. So it is what it is. I'm not a videographer, so hey, shit happens. As long as you got the audio, that's all that matters. See how it just brightened? But anyway, I'm basically addressing the discharge process, and I'm going to start with the basics because I want people to know more so less what bills or what responsibilities they're actually responsible for. And I'm going to teach you the disposition about what is a presentment of a bill and an actual acquisition of what a bill is. Now, people are like, well, a bill's a bill. No, it's not. Now, as I tell people before, what you carry around in your wallet, purse, whatever, just sock, it don't matter. Ass crack, I mean, hell, wherever people keep money safe, it's all a bill, right? So when it boils down to bills are often associated with commercial activity. But in order for a bill to be valid, like I'm going to show you in a very demonstrative way, what bills are valid are those that actually detail and can prove what you've actually acquired. Now, if you say hospital bill, utility bill, they both bills. We get this. Utilities are expenses. So all these people who are sitting here contacting me about expenses in regards to their bills, I'm not the man to contact. Now, if it has to associate itself with any governmental authority or any type of third-party entity that corresponds with in regards to government, then that's totally different. See how easy that was? Now, this is a bill. This is a $24,000 bill. I said it right. $24,000. I said it. However, the bill does not specify anything other than a response. It does not specify, oh yeah, by the way, this is mine. Yes, this is my bill. I take responsibility of it because I'm the creditor. However, it only specifies particularly something as mundane as, in according to its knowledge, a third-party address, and it says particularly an instantaneous response is required. Now, that's not a bill. That's just someone saying you owe something. Often you have to understand that when these things come to you, they may seem harmless, but they're very harmful because these things often will go on your credit. So what I would do as a response, as a secured party creditor, I would take this bill along with any other presentment, which I haven't received to this day, and I would take it and I would accept it for its value. And I will basically give a creditor disclosure statement to the entity in which sent it, which is basically a third-party entity, which is totally in a different state in where I live, and make them give me an accounting for exactly what services or fees were actually rendered and where did I actually sign to say that I myself actually owe them anything. Now, for those who are curious about the whole situation, I just told you that over a month ago, I was in the hospital. Well, 2.5 days, whatever. But at the same token, y'all have to take it into consideration that when you initially sign the admission, I don't have health insurance. I pay out of pocket. I mean, I'm not on government socialist insurance, so I pay out of pocket. But at the same token, when you sign a documentation, you basically make yourself liable for something that they're basically saying that they gave you, but they never give you a direct accounting of what they did. Now, y'all often take this and consider this stuff as junk mail. but you don't check your credit after they have a due date. What you have to do is accept this for its value and send it back to the person who issued it and tell them to give you a proper ledgering. Why, you might ask this, is because they basically took your personal information that was furnished by the third party, whatever form you signed, whether you realize it or not, they sent it to the entity because they considered you surety, right? They considered you being surety for basically prescribing yourself for services that they render, even though they were never there. These things may seem insidious and they may seem harmless, but the truth is that you basically have to put yourself in the officiate position to basically take the bill and give it back to them and tell them to give you an actual accounting. Now, if you're a patient, and I've often had this happen way in the past because I don't go to the hospital very often. I live a very responsible life. But they can't say that certain information is protected by HIPAA law, which is Health Information Protection Privacy Act. So they can't tell you that it's not accessible because you are the actual subject of the particular scenario in regards to the subject matter jurisdiction of it actually coming into a discussion. Can you prove that? Yes, you can, because you have a reference number that is on a bill. So once you give them the reference number, you tell them the specifics about the date and the time and the signature, then they basically can know exactly who you are. So they have to disclose all this information. But what you're saying is we're not talking about what took place. We're talking about the accounting that took place to basically say that I owe this bill. Now, here's the beautiful part about people who know this knowledgeably. I'm not disputing whether or not I owe something. I just want to know how. I want a direct accounting. This is not sufficient to say that I owe something. This is only saying, hey, this is what you owe. This is the envelope you put it in, and you have 72 hours to send it back to us. That's not an accounting. That is a statement. That's not a bill. That's what y'all don't get. A bill has to have an accounting because according to Fair Business and Practices Act, you have to give me an accounting of everything you say I owe. See, I can do this shit all day myself. I can I should send it to family members. You owe me $1,600 for, daycare or whatever. I can say the same thing. Send it in official business packaging and say the same thing. But that's not a bill. That's a statement. But remember, people, the truth is that it's all statements. It's just somebody say you owe something. Now, the secured party creditor to the action and the reservation of rights reserved upon the signature line, you're doing fine. You're not having your particular estate or so-called personal property assessed by a third-party entity. And if you don't reserve them within the proper amount of days, they often try to send it to collections, which then proves that the bill has been paid because the collection agency takes care of the debt, but they want to get the interest off of you. And you just learned a very significant truth in less than 9 minutes. Anytime your bill goes to collections, your debt has been paid. Collections agencies often intimidate and harass you to pay them because they covered the debt. They never evidence the documentation to prove that they covered the debt, but you know off the muscle they did. Because if they didn't, how in the world would you be assessing me for something that has already been paid? Yeah. So all you people paying on credit cards, if you don't want to hear what I have to say, yeah, I'm not a financial expert. I'm a guy that just basically, it's just what it is. I'm a YouTuber. Can't even call myself that because I don't even have over 10,000 subs. But hey, this information out there is freely. But I can guarantee you by the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, 1692 to 1694, entire section says otherwise. And by the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, you actually have to issue a particular notice. And yes, civil lawsuits can be actually held and will be upheld by federal courts because they are an invasion of private property. It's proven fact. Please look up the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. You'll see exactly what I'm saying is very true. Straight. Your debts have already been paid because you could have not received services if you didn't sign. Once you put your sign of nature on the paper, services were actually attributed to you. Whenever a doctor shoves a needle in your arm, they don't ask you for fiat in order to get a shot. They don't ask you for fiat in order to have a room reserved. They don't ask you for fiat in order to receive your meals. They don't ask you for fiat. All this is accrued into a certain amount. Now, the ideology of the basic human perspective will make it seem like what I'm saying is very wrong. And that's fine. But they often send you paperwork after you're discharged from the hospital. But your bill is not paid. But you were discharged, right? Right. So we can agree on one thing. You were discharged. So now the bill comes to your particular domicile, and now you have to address the bill because of services acquired. But if they never give an accurate accounting or statement, you're contracting with third-party entities that are also known as contractors, who basically will fuck your credit up. Discharge. Take the bill, accept it for its value, send it back to them via fax, get a cover letter, make sure you get a registered mail number to secure your bonds, offset the debt, and make sure they give you a clearance within 10 days. End of discussion. Peace. Like love. What more do I need to say? Anyone who needs services, whatever the case may be, based upon case-by-case basis, individual, whatever scenario, it is what it is. Please be clarified when you send the email. And I will promise I will give back to you at the prompt response time that I'm actually acquired through what my creator gives me as far as life's concerned. Other than that, I'm not here to save the world. I'm only here to basically generalize and basically inform people about what they should already be informed about themselves. But if you need clarification, I got you. Stop holding yourself in liability and stop placing yourself underneath the liability of actually being someone or an individual who is considered property. And learn how to stand in your correct capacity as an actual individual. My next video when I upload is going to talk about how a lot of y'all have messed up by putting yourself down as the debtor on the UCC as opposed to the creditor. Yeah. So all you people talking about these processes didn't work, don't get mad at me because you listened to an agent and you listened to some disinformation. Oh, do not be mad at me. You messed up. And I'm going to show you how to correct it because that's the creator's benevolence to give you some sort of reprieve to your ignorance. We'll get there later. Take care. Peace, light, love. Y'all stay safe. Stay tuned. Agents, fuck you.